Hey, welcome back to the Food Forest. It's kind of the end of the season, but one of the things that you can start doing right now is growing indoors, learning to not only just say start plants and seeds, but specifically growing microgreens and growing sprouts. So that's what today's video is going to be about. Little sprout starting, microgreen starting kit that I got from West Coast Seeds. Super interested and excited to learn how to do this. I've never done it before. Well, I've done sprouts before, but I've never done microgreens before, and I think it's a really good way that you can get highly nutritious plants inside of you in the wintertime. So, and it's dead easy. You don't even need lights. Let's get going. Okay, so what we have here is actually just a tray of microgreens, and we're actually growing these in hemp fiber mats called Terra Fiber. This is so much better than growing in peat moss or even sterilized soil, because then you have to worry about sterilizing the soil, getting it clean, because you don't want to just bring in garden soil and have a bunch of weed seeds germinate that you could maybe not like, maybe you can't eat. So the goal is basically you just spread out a ton of seeds on these mats, and then you wait till they sprout and you cut them off, or you pull them out and wash them off, and then you eat them. And you can eat them pretty much on a 2-week cycle if you do it like this. But again, if you're growing it in soil and you don't necessarily know what the soil is in there, then when you're pulling these out, you don't know if you're eating something that is not really edible, or could be even potentially dangerous to eat, a plant that's dangerous to eat. So I really do like these hemp fiber mats. Peat moss is really bad because it's harvested from peat bogs. And I actually got these trays. They're actually really shallow trays and very durable. I got them from West Coast Seeds. This is like this little microgreen and sprouts starter, which is really cool actually. And this isn't sponsored by these guys at all. I just thought I'd show it. This is basically how you do sprouts. So there's microgreens, which you grow in a medium, or there's sprouts, which you would just basically grow in like a mason jar with a screen that you can get the water out. And I've done this before with sugar snap peas, and then I've done this with kale now so far. And it's super easy to do both ways. And now that I'm saving all of my seed outside from kale, like we save like 10,000 plus seeds of kale. I really like doing this with kale. You can do it with a whole bunch of seeds, different types of plants, which I'll go through in a sec. But this is what you would do in a mason jar if you were doing sprouts. And you basically just fill it up just above the seed. You put seeds in, fill it up maybe like twice as high. And then you just soak it and then drain all the water. And you do this like pour and rinse, like spiral, and then drain cycle maybe 4 times a day. So it is a bit of work to get that going, and then they'll all sprout out and they'll be nice and clean, and then you just basically eat this. And you can basically just eat it in like salads, add them to salads, or add them into quinoa. That's what I really like doing. I think it's really nice. When you sprout, you can do azuca beans and alfalfa, barley, broccoli, brown mustard, chickpeas. There's a bunch of recipes here as well in this cool little booklet. Mustard, deluxe blends, so different blends. And I really enjoy growing super healthy food even in the wintertime. And I've done the sprouting before, and that was pretty easy, but I did want to get the microgreens going. So here's what the microgreens, they'll look kind of like this, and then you chop them and cut them off. And you basically just plant them. And what I did is I filled up this tray, so the water level was basically midway through this grass mat, and then just soaked the grass mat through wicking, and then put the cover on top. So there's this cover here. And I put the cover on top just to maintain the humidity. And our house is fairly cool. We keep our house at about 62 to 65 degrees, somewhere around there. I don't know what it's set at right now, but it's probably around 65, so it's not super warm. You could put this on a heat mat to germinate, but what the seeds need to germinate is they need water and they need heat. And that's it. They don't necessarily need sunlight to germinate. So I just had this sprouting on the counter, and look at the sprout. This is only a couple days later. So you can see that they're all sprouting and starting to come up. And there's actually, I think, a little bit of mold or something growing on there. I'm not really sure. I'll have to check. So I wanted to double check this because I didn't think that this was mold. These are actually just micro roots. So these are roots coming out of the actual plant. This is not mold. You can kind of see the difference. I'll put a picture here showing you the difference between mold and not mold. If you do get mold, you have to discard all your microgreens. You can't eat them. But if you just have micro roots hairs, and that's what this is here. But once they sprouted, I pulled this out and I dumped the water out of the tray. But then basically you just cut them off at ground level and then you can eat them. And there's a whole bunch of things. Microgreens, the reason why you do microgreens instead of sprouts is you can do a bunch of other type of plants. So you can do like stuff like amaranth, things that will grow a little bit longer. Amaranth, arugula, beet tops, broccoli, fenugreek, kale, mustard, pak choi, peas, micro sunflowers, which are great for chickens and stuff as well. Swiss chard, and then there's some blends. So then they've got, you know, a couple different accessories you can have. You can put something like this in your kitchen and just have this growing on like a cycle. To me, you know, you actually pick these before they're super tall anyways. You really don't need lights. Like I just have counter lights here. That's really all you need, because once they get up, they'll get tall and spindly. That's fine. You're going to eat them. It's not like you're actually trying to grow a big plant. So it takes the lights out of the equation, and you don't really need it. You just need a sunny windowsill or some kitchen lights with nice windows in the kitchen letting a lot of light in. So super easy way to grow greens in the wintertime. I definitely recommend it. And if you do the microgreens, definitely check out these Terra Fiber. See if you can find something like this. It's hemp fiber. These are basically just one-time use. Once you're done with this, you cut them, you eat them, and then the plants, and then you take the microfiber with all the, you know, the roots in them and everything, and they're 100% decomposable. It's basically just grass, like it's hemp. It's just hemp. It's a plant. And then you basically just compost it. So it's just fodder for your compost bin after that. And they're grown sustainably, and they're not using peat, like bog from a peat bog. And you know, here's an example here. So they have a little write-up about these mats. So this is why I wanted to put this into a video, and it's not sponsored at all. But when I find company who understands this kind of stuff, the impact of peat, you know, this is a fantastic company. They really care about sustainability and the environment. And, you know, when I see stuff like that, I promote businesses that do that kind of thing because they align with permaculture ethics. So definitely check out West Coast Seeds if you want to get into any kind of microgreens or sprouting. They've got these awesome kits to help you get going, and hopefully this did help you as well. And you'll be able to use this to get started really, really fast. Growing super nutritious, energy dense food. They even have these like microgreen packages specifically for microgreens. So really, really good. Tons of instructions on the back on how to do it. So try that out. Try that out this winter. If you're going to start a food forest, you know, it's a good way to practice learning how to germinate seeds, grow seeds, and then in the summertime, in the springtime, you already have some experience, so you can start your own garden or you know, herbaceous layer plants and seed starts. So definitely check that out. I think it's a really, really good idea. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next video.